Toronto. Welcome to How's the Market podcast. I'm Dave, and I'm joined by
Cody Jones. Hello.
Mr. Cody Jones. Thanks for joining us. I've been looking forward to this and trying to plan it for a little bit.
Yeah. Sorry I had to cancel last time.
You had a valid excuse.
A little bit, yeah.
A bit of an injury.
Bit of an injury, yeah. Full Achilles rupture in February, doing something so stupid like playing flag football at almost 30 years old. So,
welcome to the side of 30. Where can we follow you?
oh, you can follow me at Cody Jones Realty on Instagram.
Today, want to talk a little bit about your journey into real estate and then some of the clients you're working with, whether it's be folks looking to rent here in Toronto and how competitive that market is, and then where you can actually buy in Toronto for under $1 million.
Sounds great.
Yeah. Stay tuned to the end and we'll maybe share some tips on where you can actually get affordable housing in Toronto. Stay tuned to the end for... I get tongue-tied sometimes. I'm like, what am I? Yeah. Stay tuned to the end for some of the areas to focus on for properties under $1 million. So let's start with your journey into real estate.
Yeah, sure. Real estate is not something I ever thought I would get into. I don't think most like 17-year-old kids in high school think of real estate as like a career when they're like trying to figure out what university is going to be or whatever. Because it's not for kids that are like going into university. It's typically not like an offered program. It certainly wasn't for the schools I went to. I started studying political science and international relations thinking I was going to become a lawyer. I shadowed a lawyer for a day in my third year just as I started studying for the LSATs and was like, that is not for me.
Yeah.
What
type of law was it?
He was corporate law in my very tiny hometown of Kenora, Ontario. It wasn't exactly the most exciting office to be in.
Shout outs to Kenora.
Yeah, shout out to Kenora for sure. But yeah, no, I shadowed a lawyer for a day and I was like, oh, wow, this does not seem like something I might want to do. So I totally pivoted and didn't really know what I was going to do. Finished my degree out of school. I started like really taking a liking to international relations. So that was like my sort of focus throughout my degree. And out of school, I took a job on Parliament Hill in Ottawa working for an MP and a parliamentary secretary, which was a very cool thing to do right out of university, go work in like the like epicenter of like Canadian democracy. It was cool. Ottawa is a great city. It has a lot of fun things to it. I just didn't really connect with the city very much.
Nation capitals, the cities are always, they've got a different feel to them.
100%.
And it's very, very political, very networking, it's so different than anywhere else you go in a country. And this is true in every country you go to.
Yeah, 100%. Like I think that sort of combined with the very much like the cliche of like political worlds is that these are full grown adults passing legislation, representing constituents, representing ridings in our country, and they're acting like teenagers. It's crazy. Like
unsupervised teenagers.
Yeah, like seriously, all the like sort of gossip and like all this sort of stuff. I was 22 looking around. I'm like, I feel like I'm in high school again. This is weird. These like 40, 45-year-old people like just like talking smack to like about other people behind their back. I was like, wow, okay. But that wasn't like the only part of it I didn't enjoy. I actually really liked a lot of the job. I wasn't super interested in the city and maybe just like that specific.
I find you have to have a passion for it.
Yeah.
I think is really the thing. And it's one of those jobs that you have to navigate the rumor mill and all that. And it's one of those ones that if you don't have the passion for it, it becomes very easy to start looking elsewhere.
Yeah, totally. Because those little sort of things that you start noticing start getting to you a little bit if you don't have the passion for it. So that was it. And I did have a really good experience. And I told my boss at the time I just wasn't going to renew my contract. And that was all because I came and I visited a friend here in Toronto for a weekend. So took the drive down from Ottawa. First time I'd been in Toronto since I was like 13 or something. So
is it true? Is it Toronto the center of the universe?
Toronto is the center of the universe. Yeah.
You heard it here, folks.
But it was just like, I spent like 3 or 4 days here and it was just like, holy man, like this is so much more of a fun city. This is like totally what I'm looking for with my speed, like going from like Winnipeg to Ottawa and then to Toronto, like it really is like a huge difference. So anyways, I went back to Ottawa. I told my boss I wasn't going to renew my contract and then I moved here on a whim. I was going to just bartend or do whatever, figure it out as I arrived. So I moved here without a job, which like I wouldn't recommend anyone doing. I got super lucky. My first week here, I think I landed on a Friday. I had a job interview on the Tuesday, and then I started the following Monday. So I was only here for like a week and a bit, but I ended up getting this super random job in the music industry as an executive assistant. The guy looking to hire someone wanted someone, a young person with political experience for the music industry here in Toronto.
That's an interesting job description.
Yeah, yeah, totally. I started in the music industry, ended up working in the music industry for four and a half years, was an EA for a year. And then I started managing my own clients and producing shows. And I was like, at the time, one of Toronto's youngest.
What does an EA do?
An executive assistant kind of just does everything.
Solves the problems.
Yeah, like I had to babysit my boss's kid at times, but then also had to like literally like work a room with like billionaires and stuff. It's like this crazy scale of like responsibilities, if you want to call it that.
It's preparing you pretty well to do this job.
Yeah.
Wearing lots of hats.
Lots of hats and like client management and client expectations and all that sort of jazz. Because trust me, there's no one you want to deal with less than a musician who didn't get their rider checked off and they don't have the right like celery or something in the green room. So yeah, manage those relationships to expectations, I think was a huge like transferable skill that I was able to bring over to real estate. Sure. And then when the pandemic hit, all things live entertainment and music and everything died. And I had to make a decision because like the news was saying like could be 2 years before live sports and music comes back. And I was like, well, I can't really wait 2 years. And so I thought, okay, maybe I'll finally go to law school, or that was my idea. And I was like, well, you study for the LSATs, and then if you even do it like on the first try and then you get accepted, like we're talking like it's gonna be a while.
Yeah, it's
like,
a long pipeline. Yeah,
I was like, it's probably gonna be like 4 or 5 years until I'm like writing the bar, and I didn't really feel like that. And then I just had a friend like say, have you ever thought of going to real estate? And I was like, never. And I was like, but that's interesting. So I called another friend who is like an active real estate agent still, and she gave me the spiel of the day to day. I called my girlfriend's boss at the time, Kane Wilmot, shout out IQ Offices. Super kind, super great guy. He also gave me the sort of rundown. He's been in it for like years and years. Yeah. So he kind of gave me the full rundown of what to expect, not expect, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, you know what? Sure. Let's give it a try. So I signed up for the Humber licensing program. I was like, at the very least, I'll do the first lesson in the first exam. And just, it's not as much of a financial commitment. I think that one's $700 or $800 in the hole by the time you do the first exam out of 5 exams. And it just all clicked and I liked it. And I was like, oh, this is interesting to study it. I like the conversations I'm having, like the material is decent. And I was like, screw it. Like, let's just like go full head into this and give it a shot. And then through another IQ Offices co-founder, Alex Sharp, connected me with Ashley Shaw here at Sotheby's, and the rest is history.
Yeah. Awesome.
Very long-winded way to tell you how I got into real estate. Sorry.
It's interesting. I get the phone calls. Hey, think about joining real estate.
Right.
And I'm sure you've had them already.
I have. Yeah.
How is it? Tell me about it. And being new to the industry and landing at Sotheby's is a little bit rare. We do see it with the more emergence of teams, newer agents joining, but it's one of the big questions: who do I join? How do I do it? Because it's one of those rare 100% commission-based jobs. Yeah. And it's psychologically overcoming all right, I'm going to eat what I kill sort of thing, making sure that I'm prepared for that. And then I'm confident that I can do that. And then you jump in and you're like, okay, this is either going to work for me or it's not. You mentioned even in high school, I'm about probably 10, 12 years your senior. I really wish when I went through high school that sales was presented a little bit more as an option, as a profession. You had to do your sciences or math. Right. Yeah. And it's like, you're an engineer, doctor, lawyer type thing. And sales was never really presented. And there can be great careers in sales. And I had to stumble upon that as a second career to figure it out. So
most people do. It's like, I very rarely find people that a real estate was their first career. Like I personally can only think of one young guy I know that was their first career out of school. And else I've met has done at least something else. Yeah. You yourself, I'm sure your listeners know you have a very like interesting background. How you got into it. So
it's similar to you. I was in the sports and entertainment space, doing some water skiing around the world.
Yeah, that's crazy.
A little bit of stunt shows here and there. So went to business school while doing that. So it's amazing how you can take those past experiences in what is a totally different industry and apply them here. I learned how to speak into a microphone, and apparently that applies now.
Apparently, yeah.
Cool. Coming in, who do you find yourself? Who's that first phone call? Who reaches out first? Hey, can you give me a hand looking for X? Or who do you find that your clients are, and where do you find them?
Oh yeah, sure. Definitely when I first started, my clients were just folks in like my immediate sort of like social circles. Yeah. And I think this is like probably how most agents start as leases, like finding friends, rental properties. It's great practice. It's a great way to build a little like foundational like client base. Yeah. So at least at the start, that's where things picked up for me, was like immediate friend group, which was like someone who didn't go to high school in Toronto, didn't go to university in Toronto.
Yeah.
It's not the easiest thing to have to not, or sorry, I should say it's a challenge to not have this sort of immediate homegrown network. Yeah. So you really do have to like use the folks that you have connected with here. I was only in Toronto, not even 5 years, I don't think, when I first started real estate.
And it's the pandemic, so you don't have the ability to go and join the book club or a soccer team or whatever it is, to do those traditional areas where people might network to meet more people.
Yeah, 100%. I was coming off like I don't even know, whatever the math is, like nearly 18 months of like lockdown when I got licensed. So yeah, no soccer team. Like I was in sports, no going out just to parties and meeting friends' birthdays, whatever.
How do I talk to a stranger? How do I introduce myself?
Like seriously,
how does this work again?
And then even when you do go meet someone, you're like, which like you're wearing masks, distance. It's like really hard to like at the start was to like make a
awkward dance.
It's hard to be like, hey, do you want to go? Because at times we quite literally weren't allowed. Hey, do you want to go meet for a coffee? I heard you're like looking, like blah, blah, blah. That wasn't really an option for those first few months for me. Definitely a challenge. That's obviously gotten like a lot better as like the world has gotten better the last, so I guess, year and a bit. So a little bit more now, like I find I'm working with even like older people. I've gotten like referrals even within my first 2 years, which is like great. Yeah. So I'm seeing like that work like pay off from my first few months to now.
Nice.
Yeah.
What tips do you have? The rental market's crazy right now.
Yeah.
What tips do you have for somebody who's looking to make a move or is moving to Toronto, looking to find a place?
Yeah. Tips, I think I would say, don't be like, if you're moving to Toronto for the first time, don't be afraid to explore neighborhoods that you like aren't seeing on Narcity, Toronto's like top 3 coolest neighborhoods. Don't get me wrong, they're great hoods. And I lived at John Wellington when I first moved to Toronto, like literally one of the most like condensed areas here in the city. And it was all great. But I think those like entertainment district, like core districts, like Liberty Village or wherever else, like across the street from Bellwoods or something, like, yeah, these are the places you're going to find online, but there's so many great neighborhoods in Toronto. Don't be afraid to go explore. Even I'm like now a fan of Midtown. I never really used to be, but yeah, don't be afraid to like go live outside Davisville Station or like the Annex or Leslieville or even for sure Danforth, like these places that maybe if you're not used to Toronto, you're not familiar with Toronto, you're looking on the map, you're like, the 25-minute subway ride. I'm like, man, trust me, it's worth it. Like,
I've always found the best way to describe Toronto is it's a collection of little villages.
Yeah.
So it's little neighborhoods that they all offer very unique stuff. And if you can be close to public transit, close to one of the subway lines, and you can navigate the city, it also depends on where you're working, right? What your day looks like. Hey, do I have to go to the office? Where do I have to go? And where in the city is going to be the best thing. So if you're traveling north of the city, being in Liberty might not be the best thing.
100%. Yeah.
Or if you're, sometimes if you're going against traffic, it's a lot easier. Traffic's certainly a thing now, and you have to keep that in mind. But I think we saw some stats come out about the average 1-bedroom rental. I think it's just around 2,500 was over last month. And now it's just under, I think. But we saw a unique headline from, I think the Toronto Star put out that the average rental price for a 1-bedroom is over $3,000. And that's, to clarify, they're focused on purpose-built rentals.
Yeah, I think the 3,000 number was for 2 bedrooms.
Oh, for 2 bedrooms.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, that is for purpose-built.
Being able to count bedrooms and bathrooms is
it's an integral part of the job.
Absolutely. They should test more on that.
Some might argue the most important part of the job. Yeah, it's like the headline, was an alarming environment or like an alarming figure, like whatever it was.
It grabbed my attention.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the rental market right now is definitely insane compared to when maybe the first 6, even actually, honestly, no, not even like last February 2022, March 2022, April. That's even then it was still like you had options, and then things like really hit the fan quite fast. And now it is insanely competitive. Prices are rising dramatically. We're seeing them come down like month over month, still a little bit. Like I think it's down like 2% from last month, and it was 2% like the month before. So but it's still, it's 20 on average, like 2,400 and change to get a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom. That's maybe not even a parking spot or whatever. And over 3,000 for a 2-bedroom. Going back to like tips for renters, if you can, and it's like works for your lifestyle, like rent with other people to help bring these costs down. Because I couldn't imagine when I first moved to Toronto in my first executive assistant job making like not a lot of money to have to spend $2,000 to $2,200 a month alone for a basement apartment in Bloor West. Like that is so challenging for people. So if you know someone, you're comfortable with it, it works with your life, you have buddies, friends, whatever, like finding roommates that works for you, it makes like literally a huge difference, like $1,000 difference could anyways.
For sure. I think it's living with your best friend is always, I warn people against that. Make sure your personalities are going to match.
Yeah.
Hey, we could be best friends, but probably shouldn't be roommates and live in the same house, just because, you know, personalities might collide.
Yeah, we've all heard roommate horror stories. You never want to be a part of that. So yeah, like you do have to make sure that's what I mean with fits for your lifestyle and like, is a fit for you. Like you really have to make sure. Because like also the last thing you want is to have to like try to get out of a lease early, and like
with rates going up, it's a lot easier than when rates are going down to get out, but it's still not an ideal situation. What I always tell people is the paperwork to do a lease is probably about 2 to 3 times the amount to purchase a property.
Yeah, it's insane.
And just make sure you have everything organized. So your job letter, your Equifax report, your rental application, just fill it all out, be organized, move with purpose. If you see a place, go after it because it's really competitive. And if you're the only one putting in an offer on the first day, you might get it, and you might not be able, you might get it before you compete with anybody else too.
100%. Yeah. Like being organized and just like being ready to rock when that like right thing comes around. As timing is huge with this stuff right now in such a competitive rental market. Like we as like the agents have to like, no, we very much do how we have to sell the client to the landlord. Really, you have to package it all nice. I've gone as far as I usually do this with first time home buyers that are trying to get a bit of a deal on like on a place. You do a little like video of them introducing themselves and trying to establish a connection like right away, so that hopefully the seller or whoever it is can grow to like them or whatever. But I've done that with leases too. I was like, okay, like you're gonna do a little like video and why do you want to live here and that sort of thing, and it has worked. And sometimes it doesn't. They don't care. They literally just whoever.
Pay me the most.
Exactly. Yeah. So it.
So with rental prices getting so high and increasing so much, I think it was like in a year it's over 20% for one bedrooms. I think it's gone up.
Oh yeah. I think what was the figures back in February? It was like 17% year over year, and I think it was even higher in December and January. But yeah, like we're talking like a fifth of rental prices from a year ago now. Like. It's crazy.
As they go up, you have to really look at it and evaluate, hey, do I want to make the move? If you have the opportunity to stay where you are, maybe it's not worth it. Maybe I'm going to actually explore, talk to a real estate agent, talk to a mortgage broker, see what it's actually going to look like to purchase a property. Because in some cases, it might actually be, you know, your monthly costs might actually go down owning versus renting.
Yeah. In like some cases, that's definitely true. 100%, especially if you're like a lot of people know in Toronto, it's sometimes really hard to find a parking spot. Not all rentals have parking. So if you are someone with a car, if you're paying these like exorbitant amounts for renting, and then you're also paying $150 to $200 a month to rent a spot in your building, which I'm doing in my building, and it adds up. And so to go out and buy now with prices coming down a little bit, like purchase prices coming down, although we all know where like rates are. Yeah. Sometimes it makes a little bit more sense right now to be purchasing than renting.
Yeah. To answer the title question, how's the market? I think we saw the shift in kind of mid-January where buyer confidence came back and buyers started to become more engaged. And we saw a shift of properties saying, hey, it might actually take you a month to sell, to properties starting to move faster. And I was very fortunate. We had clients that we were looking for a while, and it seemed that they were able to secure a place like the week before the shift. And they actually got a freehold home for in the low 800s.
Wow. Yeah. Where?
Northern Junction area.
Okay. Yeah. Familiar.
Yeah. No parking, but 3-bedroom, 1 bathroom, nice yard, unfinished basement, but the opportunity to underpin that and add value to it. And it had been updated, renovated. Sometimes people have different tastes, but it was very livable and no maintenance fees.
Yeah. That can be a huge part of it too.
Yeah. And looking on how it shifted now, it had been on the market for a while. It had been overpriced and was on the market, and we were able to get it before they did the next price reduction. But now they might be competing for that, and it certainly would have been a higher price.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, when was this again? Back in January?
We're closing now. So I think this was like, it was in January, February.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right. That was definitely the time to purchase, like optimally in hindsight's 2020.
I mean, just because not everybody gets to like hit the bottom of the market, like the
No.
actual, hey, we were on that week or that day that it shifted. But there's still lots of opportunities I find out there for under $1 million. You might have to have the appetite to do a little bit of work, or you might not get parking. Or if you do get parking, it's only one spot. But there are some areas, we were chatting about it, in that similar Northern Junction area, Corso Italia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Corso Italia. I think the St. Clair West area, like Earl's Court and St. Clair West Corso Italia area, is really cool right now. Like I sold some clients of mine a property there back in December, and they themselves, they were prepared to do this and that was their plan, but they're fully like gut renovating it. But it was like, as far as other 3-bed, 2-bath, and they're adding a bathroom to it and all this to make it a 3-bed, 3-bath during the renos and stuff. They got it for a great price in a great neighborhood. It's turning over fast. There's still a lot of opportunity there. There's still lots of properties there for like under $1 million. So if you need to depending on where your budget is, you need to set aside, say, 75, 100, 125 grand for some like upgrades and renovations over time or whatever. Like you can get in under $1 million, borrowing less, upgrading, and creating more like value and equity in like the property you own. It's huge. It's a great neighborhood. I absolutely love it. Yeah.
Let's just touch on why we pick $1 million as a price point.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's the big one. It's the 20% like down like that. It can be huge, man. Like with these.
So if you're under that, you don't have to put down the full 20%.
That's correct.
With lenders.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So as soon as you're over $1 million, you have to put 20% down. And if we can all do fast math, 20% of $1 million is $200,000. Most 30 to 35-year-old or even slightly younger people,
it's a lot of money.
That is literally all their money. So to be able to get in somewhere that's a great neighborhood, the streetcars right there, restaurants are like unreal. The culture's unreal. Like it's great. I always talk to like my clients about the trick or treat effect. Like you go these like awesome neighborhoods. Like, just imagine these on Halloween night. It's gonna be like filled with kids and people having such a fun time. And
I've never heard that. I love that.
Oh man, same. Like I use it all the time. I'm like, just because a lot of the people I sell to or sell for,
I think it's you never actually grew out of that. You're like, okay, this would be a good neighborhood to trick or treat.
100%.
I would step up my costume next year just to make sure that I get the good stuff.
That's exactly right. You always want to be the full chocolate bar house on the block. Everyone. Anyways,
I remember being a kid in Etobicoke, and there's like this one really nice house, and you're always like excited to go to it, and they always give you like fruit and a toothbrush.
Yeah.
And we'd always, they're a dentist. I
forgot. My 5th grade teacher straight up gave us rulers. That was like the trope, the cliche, like he fulfilled it. Yeah.
Wow.
But anyways,
maybe you can develop the trick or treat factor as like a metric for neighborhoods in Toronto.
Yeah, maybe I could spearhead that. But
is there an app for that?
There will be soon.
Okay, we'll cut this out. It's in development now.
Cut this. I don't want to have that stolen. But yeah, no, it's like it's legit something I like talk to people who I help buy about them, because like a lot of people in my age group that are buying as a couple, typically like most of them are thinking family. Not all are thinking family, but they want these like comfy, nice neighborhoods. They can feel safe and happy and maybe have like children or whatever. And yeah, that sort of like trick or treat effect. I think the sort of Corso Italia, St. Clair West area is like prime for that. And
so let's take it and compare. Maybe you get something for around 900, and now you take that to, let's say, Liberty Village. What are you getting there? It's like you're going to be in a condo.
Yeah,
it's probably going to be a 2-bedroom.
Yeah,
maybe a large 1-bedroom plus den, but you can get a 2-bedroom for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's looking at, hey, the first 3 rules of real estate: location, pricing, going to a location that's maybe not in walking distance to work or to where you want to go out or your friends, but in long term, it's probably going to be a better investment.
Yeah. Sorry, you mean the freeholds? Like
going freehold versus the condo in the cool spot.
100%, and space too, like backyard, a garage. Going back to Corso Italia, it's all laneways, all garages, like the space, the storage, just the sort of like breathing room. Don't get me wrong, I have nothing against condos. Like I live in a condo, but I think for that price, again, you're not dealing with maintenance fees. You're not dealing typically with that many people around you all the time, or Liberty Village is just so famous for the fire trucks to be there every day. It's just these things that you can get away from a little bit. But at the same time, like I also very much like downtown living, and there's pros and cons to everything. But To stretch your dollar for entry-level buyers or people looking to upgrade from condos, there are a lot of options out there in the city under $1 million. Not everything is like $1.5 million.
Kind of looking at, it's one of the settings. I'll go on MLS and we can set parameters around it. I'll look to see what's available under $1 million, and looking there's a bunch of different stuff that we see there. So I'm seeing a lot more estate sales.
Yeah.
Seeing some power of sales, some unique situations like where there was a fire in the home.
Right. Yeah.
Seen a few more of those. And then I call it grandma's house. It's probably immaculate, but it hasn't been updated in 40 or 50 years.
100%.
And needs work. The bones of it are great. There are some good options, and the more work that needs to be done, the better deal you can have on the purchase side.
Yeah, that's typically how it works. And I think, so finding that sort of like sweet spot is really the goal, where we're like, yes, you will have to plug money and effort and time and renovations into this, but it's not like going to take 4 months. It's not going to be this huge, ginormous project. Kind of finding that sweet spot in the middle is really the goal.
I think too, the other things I try to tell clients is to be open-minded on areas. Go check them out. Go have a coffee on the weekend, walk around, see if it fits, see if it'll work. And it's also not your forever home, right?
Yeah, typically no.
You know, people will talk about moving up the real estate ladder, and whether that's when you decide to move to your next home, do you sell your current home? If you can keep it and rent it out, that's an amazing way to build a real estate portfolio. Or you sell it and you move to an area that you want to be in. And it's, rather than buying your dream home first off, you might actually go through the 1-bedroom condo, maybe into a townhouse, maybe into a detached bungalow, and then into a larger home, and then finally the bigger home. So everyone has a different journey on it, but keep an open mind on how to get there and find what works for you now and over the next sort of 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's really it. That's a talk I have a lot too. I'm like, okay, so let's lay out the goals. Let's lay out like how long you think you're going to be here.
How do we get you to the bridal path?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because I think another reality is too, is like we live in Toronto, in a city that is constantly developing and changing and upgrading and adding new things. So yes, this year transit might be a bit more of an issue, but if you were overall 5 or 6 or 7 year plan, look at the projects that are happening. Like one that I always go back to is not far from Corso Italia, the St. Clair Old Weston corner. Like it's a bit of a little pocket of the city that a lot of people have forgotten about. Like you have stockyards right there and you have the junction right there, but it's just this little pocket that a lot of people don't really think about. They're putting up a GO station there. It's going to be 3 stops to Union Station. That's going to be opening in 2026. I think there's 15 pre-construction projects, at least like in pre-con development right now, within like a half-kilometer radius. There's 3 that have been completed in the last 2 years, and it's changing so drastically, dramatically, and like fast. Like I think like again, and it's a place where you can go get like a decent little semi for like quite cheap, affordable. And if your plan is 5, 6, 7 years, man, those last 4 or 5 years you're going to be living there is going to be like great. It's going to be a completely different neighborhood and that sort of thing. So I think like try to have that chat with people too that are a little bit more flexible on locations. I'm like, let's look at places that are changing like literally before our eyes. And is that going to make a difference for you? And like it's going to bring value up in the whole area, it being busier and that sort of thing. So
it's amazing that having grown up in Toronto and then I was overseas for about 5 years. I came back and forth, but how much the skyline changed in those years. And now I think Toronto's had over 100 cranes up for well over a decade. There's a there's a report that goes out. It's called the Crane Report. And it tracks the cities, and it's like Toronto and Dubai are always at the top with 120, 115, whatever it is. The development here it's unbelievable. We're in a period right now where that development is probably slowed down because interest rates went up and the cost of operations has gone up, and developers, like everyone else, took a little bit of a wait and see approach to see, okay, let's let prices stabilize because the cost of lumber jumped so much, everything. So let's figure this out and then let's move forward. Because in reality to them, like with so much immigration, taking a little bit longer is probably just going to be more beneficial and give them a bigger profit.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, you bring up a good point. So don't roast me in the comments, guys, because I can't remember the exact figures, but it's out of the planned 116,000 units like in development right now in Toronto being built, only 44,000 are currently in development. It's like some math like that, which is just like wild. Yeah, like costs are so expensive now. Developers are waiting and saving sort of thing. A lot of people are calling on the government to speed this process up to help this affordability issue. And then all the figures, of course, with like our immigration numbers. And again, don't roast me in the comments here, but I think it's like 40% of the planned like immigration coming to Toronto.
So not roast you?
It's going to happen.
They're gonna roast you.
Damn it.
There's a best prize for the person who roasts you the best.
Yeah. But yeah, yes. This is,
well, we're giving a call to action.
yeah.
Hit the like button, subscribe, tell a friend, invite them to roast.
Yeah. And if we like it, we'll do a second episode that's just roasting.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
Hey,
I like that.
anything for views.
For sure.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to the most this summer?
This summer, oh my God, I'm looking forward to not being in a cast anymore. Yeah. Golfing is going to be great. Looking forward to working. Yeah. I think everyone on some level is experiencing a bit of slowness right now. I'm looking forward to like, hitting the pavement and like working with my clients and like getting some good deals. So like,
I love springtime and summer because of the vitamin D, the sun, the energy, just being around other people. Like I find it's coming out of the hibernation of the winter here, and just everybody's in such a good mood.
Yeah. And I think even last summer, we were still like a little wishy-washy COVID-wise.
Like, can I be in a good mood? Is this okay?
Like I think there was like some sort of like leftover like guilt or something when you were hanging out like at parties or whatever. But I feel like this summer we are truly, hopefully, like back to normal. And yeah, I'm very much looking forward to that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
What's your favorite condo in Toronto?
Ooh, that is a good question. Okay. So
I'll top 3.
Okay. Yeah, okay. So I was going to say my favorite purpose-built rental building as of late is the Brixton at Queen and Dufferin. Their amenities are unreal. Like I haven't seen, excluding like the crazy expensive $1 million for a 1-bedroom like buildings, like the amenities there for just like a solely renting building are so nice. I think they're great. That's probably my favorite like rental building right now. Condo. Good question. I've become a bit of like a Midtown-ish like annex boy. The Bianca's really nice, man. You got Chadwick's right there. You got Fat Pasture right there. It's a beautiful building.
Oh, it's funny how when you actually live in it, you're like, oh, this is not so bad.
Yeah, no, it's really nice. I like that neighborhood a lot. Yeah, like DuPont and Spadina is my area, and I really like the restaurants and the vibe around there. So that's a nice building. It's a really nice building. Yeah, that's probably where I'd go right now.
Anything in the West End?
West End. I used to be a West End boy. Still love it though.
Maybe one day you can come back and join us.
The Brixton is West End technically. It is Queen and Duff.
It is.
Yeah, that's definitely my favorite West End building. And you're right there in Parkdale. You're like steps to like West Queen West. Yeah.
The nucleus of Toronto, Trinity Bellwoods.
Oh yeah. Talk about the center of the universe.
It's the absolute nucleus.
Yeah. You know what? And again, to go back to it, because I used to be, for my first few years living here, used to be so downtown, didn't really explore much, like really north of Bloor a lot, but living now in Midtown and stuff, and I do really love it. Christie Pitts is so underrated. I think everyone talks Bellwoods, but truly like Christie Pitts is like really a great park. And I love Korean barbecue. There's nothing better than going for a Korean barbecue to hang out in Christie Pitts, especially they do the movies every, whatever it is, Tuesday night movie night. Christie Pitts is like the coolest thing. So
I like the sort of the physical dynamic of Christie Pitts.
Yeah.
With the elevation to it, and you can sit up on top of the hill. And it's, that adds such it's an interesting dynamic comparing it to just Trinity, which is flat.
Yeah. Trinity it's not a bad place to hang out. I just went and sat there when it was all sunny and had a coffee last week, and it was really nice. But it's just, I feel like everyone's just, I don't know, half the people were taking photos of the cherry blossoms and the other half were just complaining about people taking photos of the cherry blossoms. I'm like, I like, just relax. Like
cherry blossoms,
so much anger. Yeah.
Cherry blossoms are beautiful. I just, being here, like the effect it has on traffic around High Park.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't want to be here.
Yeah. I'm blaming you at all for that. But
I'm like, let me get around it. So I'll drive up to the 401 just to get around this.
Yeah.
Because that's how far I have to go. especially on the weekend. Just leave town.
Yeah.
So, cool. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me. This is super fun.
This is awesome.
Yeah.
We'll definitely have you back. And
love to.
Yeah. You want to share again where everyone can find you?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. You can find me on Instagram, Cody Jones Realty.
Is it true you have a single coming out? You're one of these rapping Instagram?
Yeah. I have an album coming out. It's called The Interest Rate Ballad. Yeah, check it out on Spotify, actually on SoundCloud.
I can't wait for the acoustic version to drop.
Yeah, partnering with Ed Sheeran.
You've heard of him? Yeah. The Ed Sheeran or just some guy named Ed Sheeran?
No, sorry, Ned Sheeran.
Oh, sorry, Ned.
Yeah, Ed Sheeran. He usually just plays out of Christie Pitts. So,
all right. Thanks, man. We'll see you.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.